Hello and welcome. You're watching the news. I'm Gargi Rawat. Coming up ahead, violence in Haryana's Nu after stone pelting at a procession amid rumours of a cow vigilante's presence there. Tough words from the Supreme Court on violence against women in Manipur, while another day of adjournments and ruckus in Parliament. Let's take a look at the headlines. Strong words by the Supreme Court on violence against women in Manipur. They asked 6 tough questions on the number of FIRs and arrests. The state government and centre to answer those questions tomorrow. The Supreme Court also says there should be no whataboutery over violence against women in Manipur, while the Parliament is stalled again over the Manipur debate impasse. Arson and firing in Haryana's Nu over a procession after well-known lynching accused Monu Manesar claimed he would be there. Internet services have now been restricted in the area and reinforcements have been summoned. Police Constable Chetan Singh shoots dead ASI Tikaram Meena and 3 other passengers on board a Jaipur to Mumbai train. So far, the police claim the motive for this shooting is unclear. Telecom and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw speaks to NDTV on the big semiconductor push in the country, says first made in India chip by December 2024. BJP MP Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who's been accused of sexual harassment by several top wrestlers of the country, has his supporters fighting the election for the Wrestling Federation body, which means he will control it by proxy. And with Sudha Murthy's recent interview about carrying her own spoon, and she doesn't want to use a spoon which has been used for non-veg, sparks a big reaction online. We speak to a cross-section of people on their views. Our top story now. The government today faced tough questions on Manipur as the Supreme Court took up the petition of the 2 women who were paraded naked and sexually assaulted by a mob. What happened in Manipur could not be justified by saying that this happened elsewhere, is what Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, said when a lawyer brought up the recent poll violence in Bengal. The Chief Justice also raised 6 pointed questions about the number of arrests and FIRs and has sought a response within 24 hours by the centre and Manipur state, while Parliament saw another disrupted day over the Manipur debate impasse.
Manipur on the agenda, from the Supreme Court of India to Parliament. The top court that heard the Manipur case extensively, including the issue of the viral video of sexual assault on 2 tribal women, made strong observations when an advocate brought up the Panchayat poll violence in Bengal. The Chief Justice said that we cannot justify what happened in Manipur by saying that this has happened elsewhere and that they are dealing with an unprecedented magnitude of violence against women in these communal and sectarian clashes. The crimes are happening against women in Bengal as well, but here the case is different. The top court asked 6 pointed questions to the centre and the Manipur government, demanding answers in 24 hours. The questions are on the breakup of cases in Manipur involving the ethnic clashes, 0 FIRs, the number of cases transferred to police station jurisdictions, the status of legal aid to those arrested, and statements recorded before magistrates till now.
The top court questioned the government over delay in registration of FIRs in the sexual assault case, and the court also asked why were the arrests made only after the video went viral and the court took cognizance of the same. The court also observed that merely entrusting the case with SIT or CBI is not enough, and we have to ensure that the justice reaches the doorsteps of the survivors. The Supreme Court will again hear the matter on Tuesday afternoon.
Manipur is burning. We are requesting Prime Minister to give a statement. Are you agreeable for
The Manipur issue played out in the Supreme Court, even as Parliament was disrupted over the issue for yet another day. The government continued to insist that it was ready for a discussion on Manipur.
They are trying to misuse the liberty given to all the honourable members, and this is clearly reflective of their mentality. When the government is ready to discuss Manipur, when the government has already acceded to the sense of the House that there should be a discussion on Manipur, they have already spoiled, sir, 9 important days of the House.
The opposition, including the TMC, that brought a resolution in the Bengal Assembly calling the situation in Manipur terrible and calling for urgent intervention by the centre, continued to say that they want the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur.
All parties have been asking for is a discussion under emergency rule. Emergency rule माने सब business बंद करो, मणिपुर आगे discuss करो. ये हमारा मांग था 20 July. From 20th of July, today is 31st of July, still no discussion. It's a very serious issue. Why can't the Prime Minister come? We are all ready to discuss Manipur.
देश के हित के लिए आज बहुत बड़ा संशोधन इस बिल में करने के लिए लाए हैं.
जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में है वो हाँ कहे.
This as the government pushed through more bills in Parliament, bills that were passed without any discussion given the stalemate over Manipur.
The government has decided to harden its stand. It's now accusing the opposition of shifting its goalpost and also of deliberately disrupting the House so that a discussion on Manipur cannot take place. And with both these sides very unlikely to relent as far as the stand is concerned, we might be looking at, just like the last time, a complete washout of this session too. In New Delhi, with Arvind Gunasekar, Megha Prasad for NDTV.
So the question is, what happens next in Parliament? The government has managed to push through some legislative business, but it has been at the cost of a proper debate. That's so essential for democracy, and the government accuses the opposition of shifting goalposts on Manipur, while the opposition has accused the government of trying to run away from a serious debate on Manipur. Meanwhile, the bill to replace the centre's controversial ordinance or special order for control of services in Delhi is likely to be introduced in Parliament with key changes. Let's go across to Megha now for more. And Megha, that's going to lead to more fireworks in Parliament once that bill is introduced, something that the Aam Aadmi Party has also been against. But so far, the impasse over Manipur continues.
And it is expected to continue, Gargi. It's not going to get over. From whatever we've been able to understand and the things that have been happening in the Parliament, like Mr. Piyush Goyal said, 9 days have been wasted, and we are actually now looking ahead at all the days that are left of this monsoon session, perhaps to be wasted in a similar manner. As unfortunate as it is, this is what is expected to happen. Why? Because the opposition is not going to relent. They will continue to say, discuss Manipur and discuss Manipur only in a situation where you are suspending all other businesses. Government will say, well, we will discuss Manipur without any upper limit, but you discuss it under the rule we are saying, which is a short duration. The opposition will not relent. The opposition will then continue saying that get the Prime Minister to proceed the debate, and if that doesn't happen, we don't sit for the debate at all. We don't discuss Manipur. The government would say, well, the Prime Minister would not speak. It is Mr. Amit Shah's jurisdiction. He is the concerned minister, so he is the one who is going to speak. Well, in all of this, the government now says, Gargi, that, the no confidence motion has been accepted, by way of which you'll have the Prime Minister in both the houses, for his reply. And when the Prime Minister is there in the House, it is very, very unlikely that the Prime Minister will not speak on Manipur. He will speak on Manipur because, this is not really just one statement on Manipur. When Prime Minister comes in, the entire, it's a plethora of issues that he can address because this is a no confidence motion reply. But it is very unlikely that he will not touch upon Manipur. He will most certainly talk about Manipur, and hence the government now says, the government's now hardening its stand, Gargi. The government says, we've done what we could, we've budged as much we can, but no more. And so if this is what the opposition wants, if they want to keep disrupting the House, then so be it.
All right. Thanks so much, Megha, for joining us with those details. Now, while the Indian football team was gunning for glory at the Intercontinental Cup and South Asian Football Federation Championship, one of their key members, Chingel Sana, was at home with his family in Manipur, as his family was one of the many victims affected by the ethnic clashes. My colleague Rika spoke to the Indian footballer from Manipur about the challenging times that he's had.
Where were you when the clashes began?
I had a match in Kerala when I got a call, a lot of missed calls on the phone. And when I called back, my mom was on the line and she told me that these things were happening. Like they were burning houses, there were gunshots, there were attacks. So it was really scary. I was on the phone with my mom, and there was moment when my mom was crying a lot and they were really scared for their lives. And luckily, the night passed away, and in the early morning they came out to the relief camp. The Indian Army took them out from the relief camps from Chandrachud, and that's how they got out.
Sana, we understand that you've lost plenty, but what exactly has the family and have you lost in the violence?
Well, my mom, dad, we had a business right from our childhood, and they built a house for us. They buy land, and whatever the family ever had, it's all gone now. We are still not able to go back to our home. Well, there's no home. We can't call anywhere, any place that we once said our home. It's no longer belong to us. We can't still go back. We're still far away from there, and my family are still staying away from Chandrachud district, and we're staying at a friend's place. And that's how we are taking shelter at the moment.
News now from Haryana, where there's been violence and there's tension in Nuh. Violence marked a religious procession in Nuh adjoining Gurugram as stones were thrown and cars set on fire. The police had to use tear gas shells and fire in the air to control the mob. Internet services have now been suspended in the area and reinforcements have been summoned. Reports say the clash was triggered over the alleged presence of cow vigilante and lynching accused Monu Manesar, who had posted a video earlier saying that he would be present. The procession by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad was reportedly stopped by a group of men on the Gurugram-Alwar National Highway. There was stone pelting from both sides. Many claim to have seen Monu Manesar during the yatra, and locals allegedly retaliated to it. And now, according to some reports, 2,500 men, women and children have taken shelter at a temple near Gurugram due to this violence. And political leaders are now appealing for peace. Let's listen in to what the Home Minister of Haryana had to say.
अतिरिक्त फोर्स भेजने के लिए कहा गया है। आजू बाजू के सभी जिलों की फोर्स वहां पर पहुंच रही है और हमने केंद्र से भी बात की है। वहां से भी एयर ड्रॉप 3 कंपनियां हम करने जा रहे हैं लोगों को रेस्क्यू करने के लिए, और वहां के हमने मेवात के इंटरनेट बंद करने के भी आदेश जारी कर दिए कि जहां जहां पर कोई लोग फंसे हुए हैं उनको रेस्क्यू किया जा रहा है और वहाँ पर फोर्स भेजी जा रही है। एसपी मेवात तो छुट्टी पर थे, लेकिन पलवल एसपी के पास ड्यूल चार्ज था। ही इज ऑन द स्पॉट और फोर्स लेकर वो पहुँच रहे हैं लोगों को, अगर कहीं पर फंसे हुए हैं उनको मुक्त करवाने के लिए। हमारा जो प्राइमरी टास्क है, जो हमारा होना चाहिए, वो है कि वहाँ पर शांति की बहाली की जाए।
जो नूह में हुआ है, मेरी सभी से ये अपील है कि शांति कायम रखें और कानून व्यवस्था में बनाने में मदद करें और आपस में कोई टकराव ना करें, आपस में भाईचारा बढ़ाने का प्रयास करें।
Well, let's go across to Priyanshi now for more. And Priyanshi, what is the latest on the situation? Remains quite tense and more reinforcements have been asked for.
Absolutely, Gargi, and the situation only seems to be getting worse. First, the violence had started in Nuh in Haryana, which is about 45 kilometers away from Gurgaon. And now the violence is only spreading. And now the road from Gurgaon to Sona has been blocked because several cars on that road have also been set on fire by the rioters. And according to the latest information that we're getting, so the violence started at around 1:30 in the afternoon and it is still going on. And let's tell you how bad the situation is on the ground. Around 2,500 people have had to take shelter at a temple in Nuh as massive violence is being seen there. And all of this started from a religious procession by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad or the VHP. And the procession or the yatra started around this temple in Haryana's Nuh. And that's when the violence started. Stones were being thrown and cars were set on fire. If we talk about the police presence there, they've already used tear gas and they've already fired shots in the air. They've also called for reinforcement, while around 1,000 personnel have been deployed. One person has been shot as well and he's being evacuated. And if we talk about how this violence started, as you've mentioned that a video was posted on social media. Sources said that Bajrang Dal member, Monu Manesar, as my colleague Mukesh Singh has reported, that he put out a video a few days ago and openly challenged that he would stay in Mewat during the yatra, and that seemed to have triggered some people, and the locals allegedly retaliated. That led to this violence.
All right, Priyanshi, thanks so much for joining us with the latest. A Railway Protection Force personnel today morning shot dead 4 people, including an assistant sub-inspector and 3 passengers on board a running train near Palghar railway station in Maharashtra. The constable was later arrested, but so far the police is cagey over what led to the shooting. An FIR has been filed, and one of the passengers who was killed was Asghar Abbas Sheikh.
Passengers on board the Jaipur-Mumbai Express woke up to a rude shock as 4 people were shot dead in the train. Railway Police Constable Chetan Singh shot and killed ASI Tikaram Meena and 3 other passengers at about 5:30 am as the train was nearing Mumbai. According to available information, Constable Chetan Singh and ASI Tikaram Meena were on escort duty when the constable fired at the ASI. The accused then shot 2 passengers in coach B5 and another one in the pantry car. Singh fired 12 rounds before trying to escape from the train near Dahisar station in Mumbai. But the police captured the accused along with his rifle and took him to a police station. An investigation is underway.
इस मामले में जो ऑफेंस रजिस्टर किया जा रहा है, चेतन सिंह से बहुत इन डेप्थ जो इंट्रोगेशन है हम लोग कर रहे हैं. जो बाकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन में जिस तरह के स्टेटमेंट्स आ रहे हैं, जिस तरह के वीडियो आ रहे हैं, सबकी छानबीन की जाएगी. It is too early to come to or jump to some conclusion.
A statement by the railways said the accused Chetan Singh originally hails from the Hathras district of Uttar Pradesh and was currently working in Mumbai's Lower Parel. One of the victims, ASI Tikaram, is from Savai Madhopur in Rajasthan and was nearing retirement. Efforts are on to find out what caused this incident.
अपने अधिकारी कोई पहले बोले अरे यार हिस्ट्री नहीं है, झगड़ा वड़ा नहीं है, सबको दिमाग खराब हो गया.
भाई हमारे पास 5 बजे फोन आया था कि कुछ ऐसे करके हो गया, आपके पास कोई खबर नहीं, कि अभी तक कोई खबर नहीं है. फिर उसके बाद थोड़ी देर बाद हमने फेसबुक चलाई तो हमको फेसबुक पे पता चला भाई ऐसे ऐसे दुर्घटना हो गई. इनके बच्चे की शादी कर दी, उनकी भी वो भी बम्बई रहती है उसके साथ ही.
While the police is investigating the entire matter, this entire visuals that have come forward is shocking for many of those who travel by Indian Railways, and that's why it seems that the police also needs to take several measures to ensure that such incidents don't occur in the future. In Mumbai with Sunil Singh and camera person Rajendra Dayalkar, Sohit Mishra, NDTV.
In other news now, one of the most important highlights of Prime Minister Modi's US state visit was the promise of investment made by US chipmaker Micron Technology of a semiconductor testing and assembly facility in India. Minister for Telecom, IT and Railways Ashwini Vaishnav explains the expectations from India's semiconductor mission.
We know that a lot of commitments in terms of investment has been made. What is going to happen in the next 12 to 14 months? Give us an idea of the efforts that the government is doing with respect to the semiconductor mission.
As you are aware, our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has put a clear focus on creating a semiconductor ecosystem. So the ecosystem approach basically means that we are trying to build each part of this semiconductor value chain, which is the design part of it, the talent part of it, fabrication, and within fabrication also both memory and logic chips. So considering that kind of approach that we have adopted, we are very happy that the first unit, which is Micron's unit, it is progressing very well. Within few weeks of the announcement and the approvals, land allocation has happened. And as we speak, the land is getting prepared for starting the construction of the unit. And we hope that by December 24, the first made in India memory chip should be shipped out of that plant. In parallel, many other major players are in talks with us. They are kind of evaluating all the options, because today India offers a very important talent pool, very clear policy regime, and an approach which gives a lot of confidence to the people. So I hope that within next 12 months, we should have at least 2 more large proposals and maybe 4 or 5 smaller proposals approved.
So Mr. Vaishnav, a lot of people have been saying that these plans are too ambitious, and many countries have tried and failed. Many countries are yet to succeed. We have also tried in the past and failed. So tell us, what are we hopeful of getting right this time?
There are 3 things which are different. First, a very clear ecosystem approach. In the past, the focus was basically, can we get a fab here? Can we get a fab here? That was the question that was the policy statement which the officials had done. In contrast to that, our Prime Minister's vision is very, very clear. He is continuously, constantly focusing on create the ecosystem, create the ecosystem, create the ecosystem. As you are aware, probably ours is the only program, India's program is the only program which has put so much focus on talent. We have committed 85,000 semiconductor professionals to be developed within the next 10 years. That makes us very distinct from all other programs, first. Second, the way semiconductor industry is growing today, from about $650 billion globally, it's going to grow to $1 trillion within next 6 to 7 years. Now that's huge growth. That huge growth can be met probably only by a country like India, because we have this large talent pool, this kind of policy, and the ecosystem is getting developed.
The outgoing president of the Wrestling Federation of India, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, is not contesting the polls, but today he completed the friends and family round, which means 18 of his men filed nominations for the Wrestling Federation elections. They'll contest for all the key posts, including president and secretary, which means he will continue to rule the WFI through proxy. That's the big question. And what of the women wrestlers who accused him of harassment? My colleague Rika Roy reports.
Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh's friends and family are fighting to control the Wrestling Federation. Even though Brij Bhushan cannot file nomination for the president's post because he has done his 12 years, he will continue to wield considerable power and influence on the Wrestling Federation if his men get elected. 18 of Brij Bhushan's friends and family have filed nominations for the upcoming WFI elections. Sanjay Singh is a distant relative of Brij Bhushan, despite the outgoing president claiming that there will be no friends and particularly family taking part in this edition of elections. Here is what his panel looks like. There's going to be a contest for president's post, and one of his men, Sanjay Singh, is contesting. 2 joint secretaries, there will be 1 general secretary, 1 treasurer, 6 vice presidents and 7 executive members. 48 members will vote in the upcoming WFI elections on 12th of August. Monday was the last date for filing nominations. Brij Bhushan had earlier said that he has the support of 22 of the 25 state federations. The fight for control of WFI will go right down to the wire. And it won't matter that its ex-president has been accused of sexual harassment by some of country's top wrestlers. In fact, 6 top wrestlers, including Olympic medalist Bajrang Punia and Sakshi Malik, as well as Asian Games gold medalist Vinesh Fogart, have leveled charges of sexual harassment against the BJP MP. They sat in protest at Delhi's Jantar Mantar as well. Mr. Singh is ineligible to contest since he has already completed 12 years as the head of the Wrestling Federation, the maximum period allowed as per the National Sports Code.
And finally, Sudha Murthy's recent interview where she claimed she carried her own spoon as she didn't want to use a spoon which had been used for non-veg food did spark a massive debate online. So we spoke to some restaurant patrons, young and old, to get their views.
While the love for food unites people, Indian educator and philanthropist Sudha Murthy's recent comment has turned into a perfect recipe for controversy. In a recent food conversation on YouTube, she said her biggest fear is that the same spoon could have been used for both vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. Social media was soon flooded with polarizing reactions.
Now, what does this mean for vegetarians and non-vegetarians on the streets of Bengaluru? Let's head to a pure vegetarian restaurant to understand the sensibilities of hardcore vegetarians.
Only Orthodox people and other strict vegetarians, they'll be very happy with us. Ours is a purely vegetarian hotel, but there are some other hotels where veg and non-veg is served. There they won't go. We don't know, we don't like that smell and all, definitely. But as long as they are not hampering our style of eating. So,
we also set foot into Bengaluru's famous non-vegetarian restaurant.
ऐसे लोगों को ऐसे इन लोगों के साथ फिर खाना खाने में मजा भी नहीं आता है। एंड जो भी नॉन वेजिटेरियंस का ग्रुप होता है वी जस्ट ट्राई टू इग्नोर कि यार वेजिटेरियन वाले ना ही आए तो बेहतर है।
वेजिटेरियन फ्रेंड्स के साथ यही होता है कि मोस्टली स्पून्स शेयर नहीं करना है या प्लेट्स शेयर नहीं करना है जो नए नए होते हैं। वेल इसके पीछे भी एक हिस्ट्री है। जो अपर कास्ट होते थे दे यूज्ड टू बी लाइक हाँ हम वेजिटेरियन खाएंगे, बट अगेन दे वर इनटू द किलिंग ऑफ एनिमल्स एज अ प्लेजर। सो ये एक आयरनिकल चीज हो गई कि आप वेजिटेरियन दिखाते हो बट आप नॉन वेजिटेरियन बिहेव करते हो।
A pure dietary choice starting with a spoon ends up stirring mixed emotions. Be it a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, Sudha Murthy definitely remains the flavor of this season. With Veera Raghav, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.